Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the universe changed forever. He sat in his small office aboard the space station Meridian, looking out at Earth through the thick glass window. The blue planet turned slowly below him, peaceful and quiet. Jake had been stationed here for 3 years, watching for space debris and monitoring satellite traffic. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. The communication system made a sound Jake had never heard before. It was not the usual beep that meant a message from Earth. This sound was different. It was low and strange, like music played backward. Jake put down his coffee cup and walked to the control panel. All the lights were flashing red. "Computer, what is that signal?" Jake asked. "Unknown transmission detected. Origin point beyond the solar system." Signal strength increasing rapidly. The computer replied in its calm voice. Jake felt his heart start to beat faster. In all his years in space, no signal had ever come from outside the solar system. He pressed the button to record the transmission and waited. The strange sound grew louder. Then it stopped. The silence lasted for 10 seconds. Then a voice spoke. It was not human. "Greetings, inhabitants of the third planet from your star. I am Ambassador Zixth of the Keth Ari Empire, speaking for the Galactic Council. We bring important news for your species." Jake sat down hard in his chair. His hands were shaking. He reached for the emergency communication button that would connect him directly to Earth's government. But something made him stop. The voice was continuing. "Your world has been selected for integration into the galactic community. This is a great honor that few species receive. The Council has carefully studied your planet and your people. We have determined the best way for humans to contribute to galactic civilization." Jake grabbed his recording device and made sure it was working. Every word needed to be saved. This was the most important moment in human history. Earth contains valuable minerals that are needed by advanced civilizations throughout the galaxy. Your planet will serve as a mining operation under Council supervision. Do not worry about your people. Humans will be relocated to comfortable settlements where you will work in the mines. This arrangement will benefit everyone. The voice paused. Jake could hear strange sounds in the background, like machinery or maybe other alien voices. The Council understands that primitive species often feel confused by first contact. This is normal. We have prepared detailed plans for your transition. Human populations will be moved away from mining areas over the next 10 years. You will be provided with housing, food, and medical care. Your children will receive education suitable for their future roles as workers. Jake's mind was racing. The alien was talking about humans like they were animals being moved to a zoo. He thought about his wife Karen back on Earth, about his 2 children who were still in school. The alien wanted to turn them into slaves. Your governments will receive complete instructions within 1 planetary rotation. Council representatives will arrive in 6 months to begin the integration process. We expect full cooperation from all human authorities. Resistance would be unwise and unnecessary. The transmission grew weaker, but the alien's voice was still clear. This message represents official contact between the Galactic Council and your species. Your response is expected within 6 of your months. The Council's decision regarding Earth is final, but we believe you will find our arrangement beneficial for all parties involved." There was another pause. Then the alien voice returned, but it sounded different now. Less formal. "Personal note to monitoring stations. Your species shows promise for basic labor tasks. The Council's anthropologists have studied your behavior patterns for many generations. Humans display useful traits such as endurance and ability to follow instructions. These qualities will serve you well in your new role. We look forward to a productive relationship." The signal cut off. The strange music-like sound faded away. Jake sat in complete silence, staring at the communication panel. The red lights had stopped flashing. Everything looked normal again, but nothing would ever be normal again. Jake's hands moved without him thinking about it. He activated the emergency channel to Earth. Within seconds, he was connected to the Global Communication Center in Colorado. "This is Captain Morrison on Meridian Station. I need to speak with President Carter immediately. We have received first contact from an alien species. This is not a drill. This is real." The voice on the other end sounded skeptical. "Captain Morrison, please verify your identification codes and repeat your message." Jake gave his codes and repeated everything. There was a long pause. "Captain, please maintain your position and continue monitoring. We are connecting you to the Defense Department and the President's office. Do not discuss this transmission with anyone else until further notice." Jake sat back in his chair and looked out at Earth again. The planet looked the same as it had an hour ago, but everything was different now. Somewhere out there in space, aliens were making plans for his world. They wanted to dig up Earth and turn humans into workers. They talked about it like it was already decided, but Jake knew something the aliens might not expect. Humans did not like being told what to do, especially by strangers. And they really did not like being told they were going to become slaves. Jake picked up his coffee cup and took a sip. It was cold now, but he drank it anyway. He had a feeling it was going to be a very long day. President Helen Carter sat at the head of the long table in the White House Situation Room. The faces around her looked tired and worried. It had been 12 hours since Captain Morrison's call from space, and no one had slept. The alien message played again from the speakers in the room. "Turn it off," President Carter said. "We have all heard it enough times." Dr. Lisa Patterson closed her laptop. She was the world's leading expert on languages and communication. The government had flown her in from California as soon as the message arrived. Her job was to figure out what the aliens really meant. "What did you find, Lisa?" The president asked. Dr. Patterson looked around the room. Besides the president, there was Commander Alex Stone from the New Defense Initiative, Secretary of State Robert Clark, and General Patricia Lewis from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They were all waiting for her answer. "The aliens are not asking us anything," Dr. Patterson said. "They are telling us what will happen. When they say Earth has been selected, they mean they have already decided. When they talk about integration, they mean conquest. When they mention cooperation, they mean surrender." General Lewis leaned forward. "How can you be sure?" "The language patterns," Dr. Patterson explained. "I have studied every word choice and sentence structure. They use what linguists call dominance indicators. These are word patterns that show who has power and who does not. In every sentence, humans are treated as objects, not people. They talk about us like we are furniture being moved to a new house." Commander Stone rubbed his face. He had been awake for 20 hours straight. "So they expect us to just give up our planet and become their workers?" "Worse than that," Dr. Patterson said. "I found something else in the transmission. There are background data streams hidden in the signal. I managed to decode some of them." She opened her laptop again and showed them a screen full of numbers and charts. "The aliens have been watching us for a long time, maybe hundreds of years. They have detailed files on human behavior, our technology, our governments. They know exactly how many people live in each country. They know our military strength. They know our weaknesses." President Carter felt cold. What else do they know? "They have classified us as a primitive species. According to their files, humans are good for physical labor, but not smart enough for complex thinking. They believe we will be grateful to have jobs in their minds because we are too stupid to build our own civilization." The room was quiet for a moment. Then General Lewis spoke up. "Their information is wrong. Humans are not primitive. We have built cities, sent people to space, created incredible technology. But compared to them, maybe we are primitive, Secretary Clark said. They can travel between stars. They have been watching us without us knowing. Maybe we should consider their offer. Commander Stone stood up quickly. Their offer? You mean their demand that we become slaves? I mean, Secretary Clark said carefully, maybe we should think about what happens if we say no. They have technology we cannot fight. They have ships that can cross space. What do we have? A few space stations and some satellites? President Carter raised her hand for silence. What are our options, Alex? Commander Stone opened a folder. I have been working on this with my team all night. We see 3 choices. First, we can accept their terms and hope they treat us well. Second, we can try to negotiate better terms. Third, we can refuse. What happens if we refuse? The president asked. They will probably invade Earth with superior technology. We will lose, and the terms will be worse than what they offered. Dr. Patterson cleared her throat. There might be a 4th option. Everyone looked at her. We could hang up on them. General Lewis frowned. What do you mean? I mean, we stop talking to them completely. We do not accept their offer. We do not negotiate. We do not refuse. We just ignore them. That is the same as refusing, Secretary Clark said. No, it is not, Dr. Patterson replied. Refusing means we acknowledge their authority and choose to disobey. Ignoring them means we do not recognize their authority at all. There is a big difference. Commander Stone was thinking hard. Have they ever dealt with a species that ignored them? I do not think so, Dr. Patterson said. The hidden data in their transmission shows records of thousands of species they have contacted. Every single one either surrendered or fought and lost. None of them just stopped talking. President Carter was quiet for a long time. The others waited. Finally, she spoke. What would ignoring them look like? We turn off our communications with them, Dr. Patterson said. We do not answer their calls. We do not send messages. We act like they do not exist. Meanwhile, we prepare for the possibility that they will come anyway. Prepare how? General Lewis asked. Commander Stone had been waiting for this question. We build defenses. We develop new technology as fast as possible. We unite every country on Earth. We get ready for war, but we do not start one. Can we do that in 6 months? The president asked. We can try, Commander Stone said. But it will require every nation working together. Every scientist, every engineer, every factory. Everything focused on one goal. President Carter looked around the room. The aliens think we are too primitive to resist them. They think we will be grateful to become their workers. They have been watching us, but maybe they do not understand what they have been seeing. She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the sun was rising over Washington. Set up calls with every world leader. I want to talk to all of them within the next 6 hours. And Alex, start working on those defenses. If we are going to hang up on the galaxy, we better be ready for them to call back. Ambassador Zix stood in the great council chamber, waiting for the humans to respond. The chamber was enormous, filled with representatives from hundreds of alien species. The walls curved high above them, covered in glowing symbols that showed the current status of every world in the galaxy. Earth's symbol blinked steadily, indicating a message was sent and a response was expected. 3 weeks had passed since the initial contact. This was unusual, but not alarming. Some primitive species needed extra time to understand the honor being offered to them. Zixith had dealt with confused civilizations before. Usually, they asked many questions or begged for better terms. Sometimes, they tried to negotiate. All of them eventually accepted their place in the Galactic Order. High Counselor Vexan approached the ambassador. Vexan was ancient, even by galactic standards. His species had been among the first to join the Council thousands of years ago. He had overseen the integration of countless worlds. Any word from the humans? Vexan asked in the common galactic language. Nothing yet, High Counselor, Zixith replied. But this is not uncommon. The species appears to be primitive, even by our standards. They may still be translating our message or consulting with their various tribal leaders. Vexan looked at Earth's blinking symbol on the wall. Our surveillance data shows they have multiple governing bodies. Perhaps there is disagreement among them. Most likely, Zixith agreed. The anthropology reports indicate humans are highly emotional and often irrational. They'd probably need time to overcome their initial fear and excitement. Military Coordinator Thelos joined their conversation. His species was known throughout the galaxy for their strategic thinking. They had planned the integration of over 2,000 worlds. Perhaps we should send a follow-up message, Thelos suggested. Some species need additional encouragement to respond appropriately. What kind of encouragement? Vexan asked. A gentle reminder of the consequences of delay. Nothing threatening, of course. Simply a clarification that our timeline is not flexible. Zixta considered this. The humans may interpret such a message as aggression. The psychological profile suggests they respond poorly to perceived threats. Then, what do you suggest? Thelos asked. We wait. Patience has always served the Council well. When they are ready, they will respond with gratitude for our generous offer. On the other side of the chamber, Fleet Commander Yorthel was reviewing Earth's technical capabilities with his staff. The humans had achieved basic spaceflight and had established a few small stations around their planet. By galactic standards, their technology was laughably primitive. Their largest ship could not survive a journey to their own moon, one of his officers reported. Their weapons are chemical-based projectiles. They have no energy shields, no faster-than-light communication, no gravity manipulation. What about their military strength? Yorthel asked. Minimal. They are divided into numerous competing factions that regularly fight among themselves. Their total military force could not challenge a single Council patrol ship. Yorthel nodded. This was typical for primitive species. They usually spend most of their energy fighting each other instead of advancing their civilization. It was one of the signs that a species was not ready for independence. How long until we can dispatch the integration fleet? He asked. The ships are ready now, Commander. We can begin the journey to Earth within days of receiving their acceptance. Back on Earth, Dr. Susan Bell sat in a secret facility buried deep underground in Colorado. She was surrounded by the most advanced communication equipment humans had ever built. Her job was to monitor all signals coming from space and try to intercept alien communications. For the past 2 weeks, she had been picking up strange transmissions from far beyond the solar system. The signals were not directed at Earth. They seemed to be conversations between the aliens themselves. Commander Stone, you need to see this, she called to her supervisor. Commander Stone walked over to her station. He had been working around the clock since the President's decision to ignore the aliens. Every day brought new challenges as humanity prepared for the possibility of invasion. What did you find? He asked. I have been monitoring alien communications for 2 weeks now. They are talking about us, but not to us. Listen to this. She played a recording of alien voices speaking in their own language. The computer had been programmed to translate as much as possible. The translation is not perfect, but I can understand the basic meaning, Dr. Bell explained. They are confused about why we have not responded. They think we are either too primitive to understand their message or too frightened to reply. Commander Stone listened carefully. What else are they saying? They are not worried. They think this is normal behavior for a primitive species. One of them suggested sending a second message to encourage us to respond faster. Did they send another message? Not yet. But here is the interesting part. They are not even considering the possibility that we might be ignoring them on purpose. The idea that a species would refuse to acknowledge their authority has never occurred to them. Commander Stone smiled for the first time in weeks. They have never dealt with humans before. Exactly. Their own communications show that every species they have ever contacted either surrendered immediately or fought and lost. None of them ever just stopped talking. "How much time do we have?" Commander Stone asked. Based on their conversations, they will wait a few more weeks for our response. If we do not reply, they will send a follow-up message. If we ignore that one too, they will probably send a small fleet to investigate what they think is a communication malfunction. A malfunction? They cannot imagine that our silence is intentional. They think our equipment must be broken, or our leaders must be too stupid to understand their generous offer. Commander Stone thought about this. The aliens had studied humanity for years, but they had completely misunderstood what they were seeing. They saw humans fighting among themselves and concluded that humans were weak and divided. They saw primitive technology and assumed humans were incapable of progress. They saw emotional behavior and decided humans were irrational, but they had missed the most important thing about humans. When faced with an outside threat, humans stopped fighting each other and worked together. When told they were too primitive to resist, humans found ways to become stronger. When offered slavery, humans chose freedom, no matter the cost. "Keep monitoring their communications," Commander Stone told Dr. Bell. "I want to know everything they are planning. And keep recording everything. The President will want to hear all of this." As he walked away, Commander Stone looked up at the ceiling of the underground facility. Somewhere above them, beyond the sky, aliens were making plans for Earth. They expected gratitude and cooperation. They were going to get something very different. 5 months had passed since the first alien message. Ambassador Zixt stood on the bridge of the Council ship Eternal Harmony, watching Earth grow larger through the viewing screen. The planet looked peaceful and blue, just as their surveillance reports had described. Soon, they would fix whatever communication problems the humans were having and begin the integration process. "Are the repair teams ready?" Zixt asked his assistant. "Yes, Ambassador. They have all the equipment needed to upgrade the human communication systems. Once we establish proper contact, the integration can proceed on schedule." High Counselor Vexan joined them at the viewing screen. Behind them, the bridge was filled with technicians and diplomats preparing for first contact procedures. Everything was routine. They had done this thousands of times before. "The humans have been silent for too long," Vexan said. "Their primitive equipment must have failed after receiving our initial message. It is fortunate we decided to come personally to assist them." General Yorthel was reviewing tactical displays at his station. His fleet of 12 ships surrounded the diplomatic vessel, ready to provide security during the integration process. The human military was so weak that his smallest ship could defeat their entire planet, but the Council always followed proper procedures. "General, what is the status of human defenses?" Vexan asked. "Minimal, as expected," Yorthel replied. "We detect some orbital stations and a few small spacecraft, but nothing that poses any threat. Their technology appears unchanged since our last surveillance update. What none of them knew was that Captain Jake Morrison was watching them from the bridge of the Hughes Guardian, humanity's newest battleship. Jake had been promoted to Admiral after the first contact, and he now commanded Earth's growing space fleet. The ship he stood on had been built in secret over the past 5 months, using technology that would have been impossible for humans to create just a year ago. "Admiral Morrison, the alien fleet has entered our outer detection range," reported Commander Nick Rogers. His tactical officer, "How many ships?" Jake asked. 13 total. one large diplomatic vessel, and 12 smaller escort ships. They are moving slowly toward Earth, broadcasting friendship signals on multiple frequencies. Lieutenant Sarah Davis looked up from her communications station. "Sir, they are trying to contact us. The message is the same as before. They want to help us fix our communication problems so we can properly respond to their generous offer." Jake smiled. The aliens still thought humanity's silence was caused by broken equipment. They could not imagine that humans were simply choosing not to talk to them. "Any sign they have detected our ships?" Jake asked. "No, sir," Commander Rogers replied. "Our stealth systems are working perfectly. They have no idea we are here." During the 5 months of silence, humanity had changed in ways the aliens could never have predicted. Every nation on Earth had put aside their differences to work together. Scientists had shared research freely. Engineers had designed new technologies at incredible speed. Factories had worked day and night to build humanity's first real space fleet. The key breakthrough had come from Dr. Kate Miller, a brilliant engineer who had figured out how to reverse engineer alien technology from the traces left in their original message. Dr. Paul Davidson had used her discoveries to create new energy systems that powered ships beyond anything humans had dreamed possible. Admiral Julia Carter, President Carter's daughter, commanded the main battle group from her flagship, U.S. Defiant. She had been promoted to admiral after showing exceptional skill during the secret war games that tested humanity's new capabilities. Admiral Morrison. "This is Admiral Carter." Her voice came through the communication system. "My battle group is in position. We have the alien fleet completely surrounded, and they still do not know we are here." "Understood, Admiral Carter," Jake replied. "Remember, we are not here to start a fight. We are here to make sure they understand that Earth is not available for conquest." The alien fleet continued toward Earth, unaware that 50 human ships were watching their every move. The humans had learned much from intercepting alien communications over the past 5 months. They knew exactly how the Council operated, what they expected, and how they reacted to different situations. Ambassador Zixt activated the communication system as his ship approached Earth's moon. "Human authorities, this is Ambassador Zixt H of the Galactic Council. We have come to assist you with your communication difficulties. Please respond so we can begin repairing your equipment and proceed with your integration into galactic civilization." On Earth, President Carter sat in the Situation Room with her advisors. They listened to the alien message and waited. This was the moment they had all been preparing for. "Dr. Patterson, are you ready?" The President asked. Dr. Lisa Patterson nodded. She had spent months crafting humanity's response. It needed to be perfect. Clear, polite, but absolutely firm. "Broadcasting now, Madam President," she said. The message went out on all frequencies, in perfect galactic common language. Every alien ship received it simultaneously. "Greetings, Ambassador Zixt H and representatives of the Galactic Council. This is President Helen Carter, speaking for all the people of Earth. We have received your previous message and have given it careful consideration. After thorough discussion with all human governments and peoples, we must respectfully decline your offer." There was a pause. Then the message continued. "Earth will remain under human control. We appreciate your interest in our planet, but we do not wish to become part of your galactic community at this time. We request that you respect our decision and leave our solar system within 48 hours. Thank you for your understanding." The silence that followed was complete. On the bridge of the Eternal Harmony, every alien stared at their communication systems in shock. Ambassador Zixt looked at High Counselor Vesson with complete confusion. "Did they just refuse us?" Zixt asked. "That is impossible," Vesson replied. "No species has ever refused integration with the Council. They must not understand what they are saying. General Yorthel was already moving to his weapons console. This is clearly some kind of primitive misunderstanding. A show of force will correct their mistake. But before he could act, his tactical officer called out in alarm. "General, we have a problem. We are detecting multiple ships approaching our position. Large ships. They appear to be human vessels." "Impossible," Yorthel said. "Humans do not have ships capable of reaching this distance from their planet." "Sir, I am reading 57 ships. They are surrounding our fleet. How did they get here without us detecting them?" Admiral Jake Morrison's voice came through the alien communication system, speaking in perfect galactic common language. "Council Fleet. This is Admiral Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. You have been politely asked to leave our solar system. We are here to escort you safely to the edge of our space. Please follow our lead ships and maintain current speed. Any deviation from the escort route will be considered a hostile act." The aliens found themselves surrounded by ships that should not exist, facing a species that was supposed to be primitive and grateful. Nothing in their thousands of years of experience had prepared them for this moment. General Yorthel stared at his tactical display in disbelief. 57 human ships had appeared as if from nowhere, their positions perfectly coordinated to surround his fleet. His officers were frantically trying to understand how primitive humans had built such advanced vessels without the Council's knowledge. "General, their ships are using technology we do not recognize," his tactical officer reported. "Energy signatures are completely different from anything in our databases." "How is this possible?" "It is not possible," Yorthel replied, but his voice was uncertain. "Scan them again. There must be an error in our sensors." Ambassador Zixt activated the communication system, his voice shaking slightly. "Human Admiral Morrison, there seems to be some misunderstanding. The Galactic Council has authority over this sector of space. You cannot simply refuse integration. No species has ever refused." Admiral Jake Morrison's response came through clearly on all alien ships. "Ambassador, we understand your confusion, but Earth never agreed to join your council. We never asked for your authority over our space. You assumed we would accept your terms without asking what we wanted." High Counselor Vexan moved to the communication station. In his thousands of years of experience, no species had ever spoken to the Council this way. "Admiral Morrison, you do not understand the consequences of defying the Council. We have the power to force compliance. Do you?" Jake asked calmly. "Because from where I sit, you are surrounded by ships you did not know existed, using technology you do not understand, in the space of a species you completely underestimated." Admiral Julia Carter's voice joined the conversation from her flagship. "Council vessels, you have 36 hours remaining to exit our solar system. Our escort ships will guide you safely to the boundary. We suggest you use this time to reconsider your assumptions about humanity." General Yorthel decided to test human resolve. He ordered his lead escort ship to break formation and move toward Earth. Within seconds, 3 human ships moved to intercept it. The alien vessel found its weapon systems completely disabled and its engines reduced to minimum power. "Council ship, please return to formation," came a polite but firm human voice. "Any further aggressive actions will result in your entire fleet being disabled. We prefer not to use force, but we will protect our system." The alien ship had not been damaged, but every system that could be used for attack had been shut down somehow. The humans had reached through their shields and turned off their weapons without firing a shot. This was technology beyond anything the Council possessed. How did they do that? Yorthel asked his engineers. "Unknown, General. Our shields were fully operational. There was no energy beam, no projectile, no attack of any kind. Their ships simply broadcast some kind of signal and our weapons stopped working. Ambassador Zixt was trying to process what was happening. "Admiral Morrison, what do you want from the Council?" "Nothing," Jake replied. "We want to be left alone. We want you to take your ships, return to your space, and forget about Earth. We have no interest in your galactic community." "But the resources," Zixa said desperately. "Your planet contains materials needed by advanced civilizations throughout the galaxy." "Our planet contains materials needed by humans," Admiral Carter responded. "If other civilizations need resources, they can ask politely and offer fair trade. They cannot simply declare ownership of worlds that belong to other people." Dr. Susan Bell, monitoring communications from Earth, detected panic in the alien fleet's internal messages. The Council was trying to contact their home worlds, requesting instructions for a situation that had never occurred before. Some alien voices were suggesting retreat, while others demanded reinforcements. Commander Nick Rogers, watching the alien fleet from the Guardian's bridge, noticed something interesting. "Admiral Morrison, the aliens are having heated discussions among themselves. Their unity is breaking down. What are they arguing about?" Jake asked. "From what we can intercept, some want to retreat and report back to their council. Others want to call for military reinforcements. A few are suggesting they try to negotiate with us." High Counselor Vex had made a decision. "Admiral Morrison, perhaps we can reach an agreement. The Council is willing to discuss modified terms for Earth's integration." "There will be no integration," Jake replied firmly. "Earth is not joining your Council under any terms. We govern ourselves. But species cannot simply exist outside the galactic order," Vexon protested. "There must be structure, authority, control." "Says who?" Admiral Carter asked. "Your Council? Why should we accept authority we never agreed to? Why should we follow rules we had no part in making?" The question hung in space like a challenge. For the first time in thousands of years, someone was asking the Galactic Council to justify its own existence. As the hours passed, something unexpected began happening throughout the galaxy. The Council's emergency communications to their member worlds were being intercepted by other species. News of Earth's defiance spread quickly on dozens of worlds. Beings who had accepted their assigned roles in the galactic hierarchy began asking new questions. If humans could refuse the Council's authority, why couldn't they? If Earth could govern itself, why couldn't their worlds do the same? Admiral Jake Morrison received a priority message from Earth. President Carter was on the secure channel, her voice excited. "Jake, we are receiving communications from other worlds. Species that have been under Council control for centuries are asking for our help. They want to know how we broke free. What are you telling them?" Jake asked. "The truth. That freedom is not something others give you. It is something you take for yourself. And that any species brave enough to hang up on the galaxy can write their own future." General Yorthel watched his countdown timer reach 0. 48 hours had passed. The human ships were still surrounding his fleet, patiently waiting. He had received no new orders from the Council, no reinforcements, no guidance for this impossible situation. "Admiral Morrison," he said finally, "the Council fleet is withdrawing from your system." "Thank you, General," Jake replied. "You are welcome to return anytime as visitors or trading partners. But you will never again be welcome as conquerors." As the alien ships slowly moved toward the edge of the solar system, escorted by human vessels, Ambassador Zixith sent one final message to Earth. "Admiral Morrison, what you have done today will change the galaxy forever. The Council will never be the same." "Good," Jake replied. "Maybe it is time for the galaxy to learn that some calls should never be answered, and some authority should never be accepted." The alien fleet departed, carrying news that would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. Earth had not just refused to become a mining colony. Humanity had started a revolution simply by hanging up the phone. And across the galaxy, other species were beginning to reach for their own disconnect buttons.